Welcome on into this edition of Union Talk. I'm your host, Sean Brace from PhillyInfluencer.com, joined as always by Mr. Ryan Ellis from Calkins Media at The Sports Nomad. Make sure you go ahead and follow him on Twitter. Last week, Ryan, when we spoke about the Union on Union Talk, we had a lot of energy. I broke out the Union Victory Bucket hat.
Very exciting time.
Things were moving in the right direction, and just quickly, how quickly it just turns. One loss to the Chicago Fire on the road. It's only 6 games left for the Union. These are all must-win games when you're trying to lock down a playoff position. And they went up to Chicago, and not only did they lose, but they lost bad. Got blanked 3-0.
Never really in the game. Sean, I know this feels like we're on the eve of Eagles season. This feels like that Minnesota game a few years ago. You come off the miracle of the Meadowlands, get all the momentum in the world. You're making a playoff push. You're laying it against a really poor Vikings team. That's what this felt like. Yeah. You're coming off that great win, and you go into Chicago, the worst team in the league with the worst record. Yes, they have beaten you before, but you got a great team. You do lose Bedoya, you lose Blake, but you still got a good team that should be able to go in, get 3 points against the worst team in the league. Just a disappointing performance by our boys in blue. We're
going to talk a little about Bedoya and Blake not being there for that game. That's a bigger conversation I want to have at the end of this. But what did you see in the game? Why did the Union struggle? Were they not ready mentally? What were some of the takeaways you took away from the game?
The final third just couldn't ever get a really solid. I think I saw 2 or 3 decent chances on net. Never really threatened the goalie. McCarthy does the best job he can, but he really is. He's the starter for the Steel, and he does a great job there. Putting him in that position in a game that you got to win, especially like we talked about last week. Those three away games coming up, you've got to get those 3 points. That's a tough spot for the young guy. And of course, without Bedoya, like we've said all along, that spine that was so strong with Bedoya in, when we had the same thing we had in Nogueira, that was gone. But Barnett was only able to do so much. Midfield got beat, and the result was a really ugly performance by the Union.
I saw head coach Jim Curtin saying that he needed to get Roland Alberg involved a little bit more. They failed to do so. Yeah, I agree with that. Especially if you're having a lack of offense, you need to get the ball to your best scorer right there. Roland Alberg is rolling right now.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he was doing great. He just wasn't able to get the chances that. And we saw in the game before with that strike from distance, he was able to make his own chances, and it just didn't happen. They were able to key on him, and there was no one really able to step up to take the Robin role from Batman for sure.
Well, we got 6 games left. And like I said, it's the playoff time. You got to win these games. I think we're all in agreement with that, including every Union player. They would tell you the same thing.
Absolutely.
Saturday night at home, taking on Montreal, a team that they've already lost to. Montreal just coming off a loss, short week for them. No more excuses.
Nope.
If you want to make the playoffs, you got your full team back, you need to win these games.
You got to win this game. I'm looking at the standings right here. Union at 40 points at 28 games, Montreal at 37 points at 27 games played. So if Montreal is able to go to Talent Energy Stadium and come with 3 points, that puts you even with Montreal, and they got a game in hand, and that's unacceptable at home this late in the season. And like I said again, especially with that road trip coming up. So you got to come home, you got to get 3 points. Even a draw really is a consolation prize at this point.
The road trip is what? Portland, you got the Red Bulls.
And of course, Toronto came in and just decimated us a few weeks ago. So you got to go across country, you got to come up to Toronto, and then of course our neighbors up to the north. You got to be able to win these games.
Saturday night, must-win game?
Must win. Woo! Must win for the Union.
Wow.
You got to get 3 points at home going into this road trip, especially against a team that's on your heels.
It's hard to argue with that. All right, let me get your take on this one. This is the bigger picture. This is a problem that I have, and I think there's a simple explanation, and it's the almighty dollar.
Yes.
I think that's what it's going to come down to. But the question that I have for you, Ryan, I know you can help me out. I'm a new soccer fan. I'm 3-4 years into it. MLS, I'm all new. And I'm really intrigued by the league. And I know a lot of people out there as well. You watch the Fox games and the ESPN games, Sundays, all that. So I think ratings are on the rise. The MLS is starting to appeal to a new audience. But I'm having a hard time understanding that here we are, crunch time, trying to make a push for the playoffs. And the Union are missing 2 of their best players. Goalie Andre Blake and Alejandro Bedoya. I don't understand how that's acceptable. I can't comprehend how that's okay for the MLS to lose their top players when it's crunch time for the playoffs.
There are two cardinal sins for any soccer fan when it comes to MLS. One is promotion relegation, which we will get into at another time, and two is the fall to spring schedule. The summer schedule that MLS goes through. Most soccer leagues, for all the EPL fans out there, La Liga, most soccer leagues around the world, they go from they start in August and they'll go through to May. Sometimes they'll have a break in the middle, like the Swiss league. The English don't do that. And FIFA has designated weeks where they say, look, these are international breaks. Your best players are going to be with the national teams this week for friendlies, for World Cup qualifying, for Euro qualifying, for CONCACAF Gold Cup. These are exactly what these are designated weeks. Well, the MLS, with the competition with college football, with the NFL, with hockey and basketball, they really can't afford to have that kind of schedule. In the summer, their main competition really is baseball.
Sure.
And you can play it. I've done double headers. I've gone to Phillies in the afternoon, gone to Union game at night. It works out for them. So yes, it is the almighty dollar. It is something the league is going to have to address, especially coming up. We've got Mexico, USA-Mexico on November 11th.
Don't tell me.
Hopefully out in Columbus. If the Union are in a playoff push, in the playoffs at that point, they get a successful playoff push, and we lose Bedoya because he's got to play with the national team. Believe me, I want to be in World Cup as much as anyone. I want to beat Mexico as much as anyone. But man, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at somebody like an American sports fan who's new to the game, and that's what you're showing them.
Yeah.
I understand it. I get the ratings. I get if you have to pick between the leagues you're going to compete against, who you're going to go up against, the ratings, almighty dollar, control all. I get that, but you're just going to have a hard time winning over new fans if that's the case.
And it doesn't make any sense. It's the playoffs. It's the most important part of your season. To say, hey, we got to take a week off for the national team. That's what other leagues would do, but they're in the middle of their seasons. They're not in a playoff push. I mean, they're not in a cup push. So it's something the league has got to figure out. If they want to expand this game has expanded so much in the last 16 years.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. But they're going to hit a huge glass ceiling if they don't figure that out.
Agreed. Well, like you said, hopefully we're talking about a playoffs at that point in time.
Yep.
Hopefully that's a good problem to have, all right? I think we'd all sign up for that, and you could just hear me complain about it when November rolls around and U.S. World Cup qualifier up there in Columbus. Is it in Columbus?
I hope so. I booked my ticket to Columbus, so I'm hoping it's in Columbus.
Gotta love it. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, @TheSportsNomad. He's Ryan Ellis from Calkins Media. I'm Sean Brace. Union, you know what you gotta do. You have to win on Saturday night. Hopefully next time on Union Talk, we're talking about a victory. And for us, we'll catch up with you next time.
Go Union, go Birds, have a great week.
Hey now.